What's up, guys? It's Migs from Market Open. I want to do a recap on my trades today. As you can see, I traded considerably more stocks today than I did yesterday, but I ended up on top $428 today. So let's start with WHR. WHR was one of my main candidates this morning. It gapped down from 184 considerably on earnings. We were looking for it to pull up and then just short it on the way back down for it to fail, basically, just as we always do every single morning. So as you can see, just in this 1 minute candle alone, it went from 163 all the way up to almost 164 right here. And so that's why I decided to only short 100 shares of that stock. So I shorted it right at 166. We saw this whole number as support, and if when support cracks, it should become resistance. So it cracked right here at 166. I should have covered down here at 164, but it actually ended up just basically flash crashing and came back up. And when a stock moves down that far to where I should have taken a partial and it comes back to my entry point, that's usually where I put my stop. So it flashed down so fast, I didn't want to see it come back over 166. So what ended up happening is I shorted at 166. I had a stop at 166, but it was so fast when it came back up on a market order because I'm trading CFDs. So CFDs are usually a lot faster. That's why I'm using a market order, by the way. But it actually filled me up at 166.32. So I only ended up losing $32, not a big deal, but I noticed that it was kind of topping out, so I went ahead and re-shorted it under 166. So as you can see here, I re-shorted it under 166, and then I covered it 165.02. So ended up making $100 on that. Averaged out because I lost about 32 bucks on this one. So now my next short was on IONS. IONS right under 57. So as you can see on here, IONS didn't give us a chance to short it. It didn't pull up at all for it to fail and then short it. So we were watching it from the very beginning. I had it on one of my other monitors. I saw it pull down, and it gave this really nice pullback right here. And I shorted it right at 57. So right at 57.01, shorted 200 shares. I covered at 56.05. So down here, yeah, so I ended up shorting or covering up 150 shares. Then the other 50, I ended up covering. Let's see here. Oh, actually, I re-shorted it at 56 after it pulled up right here, 947. Yeah, so I was still riding the last 50 shares. Where was I at? Next candle. Yeah, so I ended up shorting it right under 56. I added another 200 shares. And IONS, I covered 200 shares down 40 cents. And then, where's the last? The last 50, I covered it right at 54.94. So I let those last 50 ride. I added another 2 and then covered another 40 cents down. So now, CAT. This was really disappointing today. I thought CAT was actually doing really well. I knew that they had just reported earnings, so it gapped up from 132 all the way up to 141. We were looking to go long on the way back up after it flushes down, and then I was looking to go long right here at 149 or 139. But as you can see, I got kicked out of it real fast. So entered at 139.04. Let's see what time at 9:46. So right here in this candle. So as it came right back over 139, got kicked out right here at 138.58. Lost $46. So I kept my stop relatively close. Didn't really lose that much money on it. But as you can see, I'll show you here on the 5-minute chart. As you can see, the conference call. There was a conference call today at 11 o'clock. This was just a ripper straight down. So it crashed basically from 139 all the way down to 137 within this 5-minute candle alone. So good thing I was out of it. I did not know that there was a conference call today at 11 o'clock. So good thing I wasn't in it. Now let's see. That was at 9:46. Covered ions. Re-shorted it. That's me getting out of CAT right there. at 950. So I wasn't really in it very long. I was in it till about here. I believe I used the 9 moving average as my what's it called? As my stop, basically. So I was keeping a very tight stop on that. All right, my next, let's see, looks like I went long JP Morgan. Let's see, so you guys see the overall trend here. So JP Morgan's gapping up. Not sure what the news were, JP Morgan. Annual investor conference. Not really quite sure. It's probably just the overall market. So yeah, JP Morgan was gapping up from 99 right under 100. Initially, I wanted to get into it right at the break of 100, but I was busy with WHR, IONS, Caterpillar, and all that stuff, and we missed it. $100 would have been a great entry. The break of such a whole number like that is always a good entry, especially right at the beginning of the day. As you can see, it pulled up over 100, never came back, never looked back. Actually, this right here would have been a good entry as well. Right off of this white line right here is the VWAP. So as you can see, it sold off, got bought up right at 1032. It just kept going, Oh, actually, this cracked it right here, so would have got kicked out. But you at least would have gotten a good 20 cents out of it. Probably not enough out of a good $100 stock, but as you can see, it's up here at 1088 now. So JP Morgan, I went in at $100.39 right here. What time was that at? 10:05. Oh, you know what it was? Actually, I went in on the 5-minute candle right here. Right here, I went in at 10:05. It was actually at the break of the previous high, so as you can see, the high there is 139. This one's $100.40, so it did a false breakout. It went over. It should have kept going, but it didn't, and then it could just kind of flush down. So I got flushed out of that one. Lost 63 bucks on that, not much. Now next, my trade in LLY. Let's see here. So LLY right at, let's see here. LLY right at 86. Not sure. Oh, right here. Right under 86. So as you can see, start going over to the 5-minute chart. So it initially gapped up just a little bit, but right before open, it just kind of went flat on the day, and then it just started flushing down. So obviously the investors were not really too happy with the earnings that come out. So it gives you the initial trend. Usually if something gaps up, you want it to keep going, but if it gaps up just a little bit and then it just flushes down like this to the point where it's under yesterday's closing price, then it's setting the trend for you basically. So it's saying, hey, go short on this. The stock is very weak. So what I ended up doing is I saw it pull all the way down, and I saw it pull up to VWAP, but it actually kept going a little bit higher. But as you can see, this little spinning top here, I went short. It's got to be this candle probably, 1014. Yeah, so right within this candle, right at 86, and as you can see, it flushed down. Let's see here. I covered 300 at 85.67. Covered another 100 at 85.63. Covered another 50 at 85.38 down here. And I believe that was it for that. Actually, I think I had another 50 shares. Yeah. So I was still writing another 50 shares. Let's see. WHR. Actually, let me cover the had another LLY trade. So as you can see, LLY was bouncing here right at 85. I shorted another. Hold on, let me go down a little bit. Shorted another 300 shares right here at 1113, right as it went down under 85. Because as you can see, it was consolidating right here in this area, right 85. Bounce, 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 and it would not crack. And then so I shorted it right here at 85. Came back up, started flushing down. Cover 200, 84.93, another 100 right there, and I actually got completely out of it. It wasn't moving. Now looking back on it, it actually flushed down. So, but I ended up basically being flat on that second trade on LLY, and I wanted to keep the 160, so I got out of that early. Now let me go back to WHR. I think that was, no, next trade was MMM. This probably being the trade of the day that I didn't really take. I mean, I took it, but it's just I only had, let's see here, MMM 300 shares. I wanted more shares. Two, I got filled all the way at 234.39. So this pattern right here literally could not look any better. It was gapping up on earnings right here. So the initial just run up right at 234 got rejected, came back to VWAP in the 9 moving average, and it just kept climbing right here. This line, right when it broke 234, it literally exploded all the way up to 234.40 because there were so many people lining up that saw this pattern, lining up to buy it right at 234. I saw it flash for a split second right here on, actually no, I saw it right here on, I saw 234 flash just for a split second, and I hesitated to click the button, and I got filled at 234.40. So either way, I ended up getting what I wanted. I got, oh, that's right, I lowered my position at 234.39 since I took such a bad fill. So I got flat on these 200 shares, and I just kept 100 just in case. Just because I got such a bad fill, I wasn't 100% sure I was going to keep going. Hindsight being 2020, as you can see, the stock here now is at, it topped out at 237. So let's see here. All right, so I kept the 100 shares, and I got rid of them. 230. No, that's not it. Bought. Oh, that's right. I got rid of it at 234.94, the last 100 shares. So I only ended up getting $55 on that. Looking back on it, obviously I should have kept my 200 shares, but it's just because I got such a bad fill. I'm always concerned with the risk. I'm never thinking about, hey, if I keep this, I could make so much money. That's completely irrelevant. Like we're day traders, so we are trying to master our risk. We're trying to master risk management. That's always what we're thinking about. We're a lot of the times, yeah, we do think about the profit sometimes, but that is just being greedy. And that's definitely not what you want to do in the stock market, because it will humble you within a second. You'll lose everything that you've worked so hard for. So you can't be greedy in a stock market like this, because it'll definitely humble you very quick. So I was happy with the $55 gain that I had on that. Hopefully it went my way on that one. Now, CELG. Right at 120. CELG. Let's see here. I shorted it. This is one of my go-to short strategies too, by the way. So it's called a VWAP projection. So as you can see, it moved down and it pulled back up right up to VWAP. It kind of sold off with this topping tail, as you can see, and then I got short right here at the 120.35 mark, and it usually continues down this way, but it seems that the 9 held and it just kept climbing. So it kicked me out right at 120.74. So right around here somewhere. Yeah, so right here. This candle right here is what kicked me out. So with CELG, I ended up losing $43. Not a big deal. I took a smaller share size on it because the 9 was under it, and that kind of acts as support a lot of the times. So I knew that. I've seen it break through a lot of the times, but it's less likely that it's going to. You have a slimmer chance, basically, if the 9 is still under. You want the 9 over in VWAP here and it getting rejected and there not being anything underneath. So that's why I chose to only take 100 shares short of CELG. Now, my next trade was McDonald's MC. That's right, MCD. Right at 166 went long. Let's see here, probably. Yep, right here. Yep. So nice cup and handle right here. This is the cup, and this is the handle right here. Right at 166, I went long, 200 shares, sold 150 right at 166.48. So literally at the top. I got really lucky on that one. That's really hard to do. So sold right at the top at 166.40, and I got stopped out right at 166 with the last 50 shares. Ended up making 70.50. So I got stopped out, and I believe, yep, that was a short on LLY that I wish I would have kept. All right, well, guys, that's market recap for today. If you guys do have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of these trades on Twitter a lot of the times before I even take them. So I'll call out things like McDonald's or LLY under the $85 mark where it was kind of bouncing, and you guys will see every move that I'm making beforehand. Also, if you guys are curious about investing or day trading, make sure to follow me on Facebook. We have a private group for everybody so we can share ideas and just be in a peer-to-peer environment so we can just freely share our ideas and our information. So, all right, guys, have a good day. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.